Let's begin with the definition of a matrix. A matrix is a rectangular, think about the meaning of that word, array of numbers. All right. So first of all, when things are rectangular, that means they have a particular shape, right? They look like this more or less. So what it means to be rectangular. So examples of matrices. Here's one. You put 1, but the only difference is you put brackets around it. Or you can have a matrix that looks like this, 2 and a 1. That's again a matrix because you see you've got two values within brackets. Now specifically, we can talk about the size of these things. So it means the following. One row, rows go horizontal, so it's a one row by two columns, like that. Often we say something like 1 and then by 2. So it means one row followed by two columns. Remember that a column is what goes this way. So this is one column, this is the second column. And a row is what goes this way, right here. So it's a single row versus two columns. Okay, let's do another example now, building up slowly. So 1, 2, example, and then 3, and then 4. So what is this one? Well, here what you have are the following. 2 rows and 2 columns. So in other words, we would say it's a 2 by 2. That's how we write it often. Let me emphasize. So this is one row, this is the second row, so there are 2 of them. And then this is one column, this is the second column. So as you can see, there are 2 columns and 2 rows in this matrix. So it's a 2 by 2. Let's do another example. Imagine over here on the side, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, just making up numbers here, they don't mean anything, 5 and 6. So if you look at this one, you should pause the video and really think about how to write down the size of this matrix, that is the number of columns and the number of rows. You should do that on your own. But if I were to answer, I would say the following. So 3 by 2. You can also say stuff like this, so 3 and then basically by 2, so kind of use a multiplication symbol in that position. Why? So one more time, you should really understand this part, right? So this is first, second, third. So there are 3 rows. And the columns go up and down. So this is one column, this is the second column. So 3 rows by 2 columns. You see that? Columns in green, rows in blue. Let's do one last example. So for example, again, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's do also here 9, 10, and then 11. Just some values, doesn't matter. Again, pause the video for a count of 5 and ask yourself, how many rows, how many columns? At least do a mental outline of that process, okay? But having said that, let's go through it. So this is one row, second row, third row, right? And then columns. So this is one column, this is the second column, this is the third column here. So if you think about it, what we have are the following: 3 rows and 3 columns. So we would say that more compactly by saying it's 3 by 3 matrix, like that. It's true, you can name your matrices. So for example, you can call this one A, call this one B, call this one C, whatever. You can call them, give them different names. But the names are arbitrary, right? They're just names in the end. All right, I'm going to move on, but again, I'm going to leave you with one last assignment. So imagine you have just this. So what I want you to do is, again, write down the size. So this is often called the dimension of the matrix, the dimensions of the matrix, like that. And just state how many rows, how many columns. I'll see you in the next video. I'll answer that question.